Ooh, I get to watch. I get to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, on the Sony.
Yep. Yeah, we need to get this done.
Speaking of that, there was a TV in here?
Yeah.
Is that from your house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, who's bringing TVs in?
Yeah. Yeah. I replaced the TV in the guest bedroom.
Right.
And so that TV is technically a monitor.
Oh.
There's no sound, no speakers in it at all.
Oh, interesting.
So it'll only show audio. You can hook up speakers to it and then pipe the audio through it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a monitor.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Oh, welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic snow is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tyler. Hi. And over here on my left, your guys is right. Actually, I don't know. Is that how that works or?
I don't know.
All right. Oh, anyways, that guy's Jimmy.
Attention.
I don't know if video mirrors or is it still left and left?
No, I think it's still left to left.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's Jimmy.
Hi. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Or were you talking to the listeners?
Yes.
Oh. All right. I'll just shut up then. You can.
All the above.
You could
And how are you? And you? And
I'm doing
you?
well. Oh, that wasn't to me. Got it. Dang it.
You'll get it one of these days. It's all right.
All right. I'll wait. I'll wait for my turn.
I'm happy to hear that. Well, we've got a fun episode for everyone today. We also, I think we should announce that we got our video camera back.
Hey.
Apparently, what we were having problems with was it would randomly stop recording. And I sent the camera in to get serviced and warranted repaired. And really, it came down to the hard drive we were using because it has a USB-C adapter on it, and we can USB-C through the camera into a solid-state hard drive was failing, and the data packets weren't being read fast enough or written fast enough or something like that. So we have now purchased. They sent us back the camera, and we've now purchased a hard drive or a solid-state drive that is on their approved list.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we shouldn't have any problems here in the future.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But you know how technology works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully everything works out and you guys get video back. You guys can watch my glorious, lovely face, the moneymaker. And then you can put your thumb over Jimmy's face so you don't have to look at it anymore.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, yeah, we're back on video. So if you guys wanted to go back to the YouTubes, you can do that. Or you can keep listening audio, whatever you want. We don't care. As long as you're watching or listening or doing something with us.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Because we do a lot of cool stuff, like a bunch of giveaways and working with some really cool companies. So some of those companies that we enjoy really working with are Onyx Off-Road, because they're doing an annual elite membership if you go and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. So once we reach 700 reviews on Apple Podcasts, we'll do a giveaway from all of those reviews. So in order to get entered for that, all you have to do is leave a review. And then we'll pull a winner from those 700 reviews, and you can win a 1-year membership for Onyx Elite membership, as well as some other swag items from Jimmy and I.
Yeah.
And then at 750 reviews, we're working with Yokohama to get some tires.
Oh yeah.
So a full set of tires, pretty much any tire you want. So just a DOT approved compound, no stickies, no slicks. And a 20-inch rim, under a 20-inch rim, right?
Yes.
So DOT approved compounds, under 20-inch rim, which is all your off-road tires pretty much that they have to offer. So it's pretty cool that they're doing that. Get yourself some 40-inch Yokohamas. So I saw a few 40-inch Yokohamas out on the trail this weekend. So it's kind of fun. It was cool to see those. So let's see. We got that going on at 750 reviews. Again, all you got to do is just leave a review, and then we'll pull one winner, a wiener from those 750. to see who wins a set of Yokohama tires. So cool stuff from Yokohama and Onyx. Thank you guys for chipping in and doing some cool things for the listeners. Go support them because they really do offer some awesome products. Jimmy and I don't really like talking about products on the podcast unless it's something that we really enjoy and we believe in. So,
right. Or it's our own,
which
we also really enjoy.
Not enjoy?
Yeah, I guess. True that.
Fuck that more flat stuff.
Who makes a flat tailgate panel?
Right. So yeah, we got some cool stuff going on. That's the review things. We have a monthly giveaway going on with Torque Strap. So we did that interview on Monday, released that with Grant, a really cool dude, super down to earth. He's an off-roader and outdoor adventurist, just like we are, just like you guys are. And he found a need that he really wanted that he couldn't find anywhere. So he made it himself, which is rad. Is really cool. That's the stories we love covering. So,
yeah. And it's kind of, our Genesis story, right? For our companies as well, which was a lot of fun to hear about.
Yeah, it was really cool. So we have some product for you guys going out with us from Torque Strap. And let's see, what else do we got at the end? How do you get entered for that?
Yeah, you can get entered by going over to iRate4x4, go down to the watch, listen, and discuss section. Mm-hmm. Click on SnailTrail4x4 podcast, and then your sign-up options are going to be there. You need to sign up for the giveaway tier before the end of the month if you want to get entered into the Torque Strap giveaway. On those same lines, if you don't exactly want to be entered into the giveaway and you want the product now, we did get a discount code from Torque Strap.
Yep.
That code is 1515, 1515. Mm-hmm. And you can go over to Torque Strap right now, go buy whatever product you want from them, and you get a 15% off code there.
Yep. I need to go buy some more stuff. Just
we got stuff.
I know we did, and I've used some of it, and I want more.
Okay.
So that's
should we show what we got or talk about what we got? What he sent us?
Yeah, we can shot.
It's heavy.
It is heavy.
All right, BRB.
That was one of 3 boxes we received.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then do you really need more stuff? Or is any of this, we should ask him if any of this is for the winner.
It's not. So he said that all those 3 boxes were personal.
Oh, damn.
So, what he sent to Jimmy and I, he essentially sent us 4 straps of each of their 3 main SKUs.
Okay. So
we had 4 straps of the light duty ones, which have the 125-pound springs in them. They're your typical 500-pound working load, 1,500-pound braking strength, minimum braking strength, tie-down straps, which are awesome for like a majority of stuff you're going to be using cam straps for.
Yeah,
right.
I actually used these today.
The ones
did use them? You got me for my birthday. I went and picked up the new window.
For Christmas?
From
your birthday's on Christmas
Sorry,
now?
for all the
egotistical prick.
I am now claiming November and December. Yes, Christmas. Sorry. Yeah, the straps you gave me the other day.
Yeah.
I went and picked up the new bathroom window, and cool. I just strapped it down with the Torque Strap.
Yep.
It was super easy.
Actually,
nice. I originally pulled out one of my ratchet straps, and I was like, I'll just throw this around. And the ratchet straps length wasn't long enough. Yeah. And I was like, I wonder, I've got the Torque straps just in the cab. I should try that out. And I wonder if it's long enough. And it was long enough. Mm-hmm. And it was super easy. Like I just rolled it around. I didn't have to ratchet or anything, just yanked on it and it cinched it down and put it right where I wanted it. It was really nice.
It usually works out that way. If you yank on it just right, it'll go where you want it. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have always been a big fan of the retractable ratchets.
Yes.
Straps, right?
Yeah, those are nice.
I love those, but I might be swapping all those out for these light duty Torque straps now. I need to get that. I want to go buy more. So yeah, the nice thing about them is it's so simple and easy to set them up and they hold really well. I did learn though from my experience this weekend and talking with Grant.
Yeah.
So these, we don't have one out of the box to show you, but there's a limiting strap. so that you don't overextend the spring on the straps. And he said that your goal is to engage that limiting strap.
Oh,
so that way you can't, the strap can't extend any further.
Sure.
But it can retract and still maintain tension as your load shifts, right?
Right.
So, like I was using mine on the Lance. I was going to talk about this later after we get into what we've been up to, but I'll talk about it now. I put the medium duty straps. So I took all the medium duty straps. So that was going to be one thing. I was going to buy you some more because I took them all.
That wasn't my microphone. Got it. Okay.
That was your coffee.
Yeah.
So I took all the medium duty straps and I put them on the Lance.
Okay.
Because refueling the truck with the Lance on with the turnbuckle chains just sucks. It's a tedious, time-consuming thing. I have to pull a wrench out to get the turnbuckle undone, right?
Yeah.
To access the fuel door on the truck. And with the cam straps, the torque straps, the medium duty ones on the Lance, it makes it super easy. You just push in the disengage lever and it undoes the strap and you put the fuel in. Then when you're done, you just pull it back tight again.
Wow. So the fuel door is right behind one of the attachment points.
One of the tie downs for the Lance. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
It's
you
really
need like
annoying.
a funnel.
I know, right? That's not a bad idea. Just put diesel spigots from the gas stations don't really have that lock engage thing like gas does. So in theory, I could just put a funnel on it and let it.
Yeah.
Get a beer bong for my my diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that limiting strap, your goal is to engage that limiting strap on the backside of the spring.
Okay.
In the case of the Lance, I left it just barely not engaged. That way it does have a little bit of play and movement, so it doesn't rip the mounts out of the Lance and twist the chassis on it. But that limiting strap is there for a purpose, and you do want to try and engage the limiting strap when you're tying stuff down with those.
Okay. That's good information to know. What's this other one for? Just another tie down point?
That strap is to go around things if your hook cannot hook on something.
Oh.
Smart, right?
That's smart.
Yeah. It took me a while to figure out. I was like, why is this extra strap here? What is it?
Like a new attachment point.
I thought you tried to use it to gain mechanical advantage to engage the spring or something. And my smart employee that's much smarter than I am, he was like, no, that's there so you strap it around stuff that you can't put your hook on. I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we got the M500s.
The light duties.
We got the M.
I want to say they're M7s. I don't remember what they're called. The spring in them, and they're all on the Lance right now, so they're not in here. But the spring on them is a 175-pound spring, and it's a 2,000-pound braking strength, 2,200-pound braking strength, 750-pound working load.
Wow.
So I have those on the four corners of the Lance, and it worked awesome.
Nice. Okay.
I was really, really happy with that as a solution for the Lance. And then we have the brand new Pro that they just launched. He said, November, December?
I think it was November. They're heavy.
They're heavy. They're beefy stuff.
They're really beefy.
I really wanted to try using the Pro to tie down the Forerunner.
Okay.
To go up to Winter Fun Fest.
Okay.
And I didn't have the balls to do it.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know. Is this something like when you tie down a vehicle on a trailer, you don't want it moving around at all.
Right.
And so with a spring in there, allowing it to move around, I'm like, man, I don't know. But also I haven't opened up the Pro to see if that has that limiting strap on the spring. It does. Okay.
He said it does.
Okay. So, I mean, in theory, if you engage that limiting strap when you're tying down your vehicle, it should behave the exact same as your vehicle tie downs, except you don't have to worry about the strap coming loose on you.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And if it does loosen up ever so slightly, then you still have the spring engaged.
That's what the spring engagement. Yeah.
And you're nearly as tight. I watched one of his videos when I was setting up the podcast and trying to find an image for the thumbnail. And he showed he was just showing this like simple thing of when you stack two boxes on top of each other and with one box slides and seats itself better into position than how you originally set it up. And with a ratchet strap, he had like a torque measure or a foot-pound measuring device between the strap and a chain. And so he had a chain that went like across his bed, and then he attached the measuring device on there, and then he attached the ratchet strap over the top of the two tubs.
Okay.
And he got the ratchet strap up to 100 foot-pounds. Maybe 120 or something. And then when he moved the top bin so it sat better into the lower bin, the ratchet strap went to 0.
Okay.
And then when he did the same thing with the torque strap, it was up to 100. I think he had it cinched at about 150 pounds.
Okay.
And when he, maybe it was 120, it was somewhere, it was in that range.
Okay.
And when he sat the top bin into the second bin, it went down like 15 pounds.
That's it.
That was it.
Yeah. Interesting. It's a really cool setup. It's a really cool concept, and it works great. And that's neat to hear the difference of how much tension it's holding on your load. That it's not a big loss. Like if you take a static strap, and have a load shift, you don't have any tension left.
Correct.
Whereas this, I would have thought that it would have been like half or more that you lose. But it's really not. Well, it's like 10%.
It's relative, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on how much something shifts or what moves.
Yeah.
But in theory, this will always be keeping some sort of tension on. So if it does shift a little bit, it's still maintaining tension.
Yeah. I wonder if I'm thinking of suspension. This would be a good question for Grant. Grant, if you're listening, call in to our voicemail and give us an answer here. Because I think of suspension springs, like coilover springs, right? And how they can be progressive, digressive, etc., dual rate kind of thing. So if he has these 125-pound springs in here in the M5s, then is it pretty much automatically 125 pounds, or as you pull more on the spring, do you approach the 125 pounds? Like you have to, do you get 125 pounds of tension force immediately, or once you fully engage, like get to that limiting strap point?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I'm guessing that it's a linear, if you're not engaged, curve. Then it's 0. And the more you pull it to full extension, the more it'll get up there.
Gotcha. So if you have like half of the limiting strap engaged, it's 70 or 65 pounds. Whatever.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it's not linear, but I think it's there is a scale there. I don't think it's an instant 125 pounds. I think,
I'd be curious to know what that scale is.
If it's engaged 20%, maybe you're, 80% of the spring.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, cool stuff. Really neat product. I got to use more of them this weekend. I was really happy with them. So if you have a cab over, I know a lot of our listeners might, then and you've had that pain point of your cab over tie downs being in the way of your fuel door on your truck. This is a great option in my opinion. So
or if you have an idea for Tyler on how to solve that problem, another way,
there are quick release buckles out there. They're a lot more expensive. I don't know. I like this as a solution. So.
This is a quick release buckle.
It is a quick release buckle, right? So
Yeah, one of the things I saw about the Pros is they come in a 25-foot webbing length.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no options for other lengths. And for Bobcat on my trailer, I only need 8 feet. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I might talk to Grant and see what happens if I cut these down. Like, is it a strength versus length kind of a thing? Is it?
No, it's not. I actually did ask him that. Well, kind of. I didn't ask him about the load capacity ratings on it if you cut them down. But I did say, because on the Lance, I only need 4 feet, right? And they're, I think, 20 feet straps. So, I was like, I need to get rid of the excess so I don't just have them flopping around and worrying about them coming undone on the freeway and flying around, right? Yeah. And he said, yep, just cut them and then melt the ends. So the threading, the webbing doesn't come apart.
Yeah.
So
I know that at that point, I'm now making a specific use for my straps.
Yeah.
But in another case, I still have other straps.
Yeah.
The old boring style.
Yeah. Grant, if you wanted to make a specific vehicle tie down for trailers, give us a call. I have a couple of ideas for you how to improve your straps and make a very specific use strap. So
sure, absolutely.
I might reach out
and
to
it'll
anyone.
Probably be neon green coming from Tyler.
100% it would.
Yeah. Too funny.
Yep. Anyways, cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of feedback that we've been having personally using the torque strap stuff. So
yeah, thank you for the gifts, Grant, and we're excited to share these awesome straps with a lucky winner in our giveaway. So super excited for that. Awesome. All right.
Let's see. What else do we got going on for January?
Not a lot, I don't think. But shall we are you going to King of the Hammers?
I am personally not going to KOH this year.
Okay.
Couple of reasons. I'm sending 5 employees.
Yeah.
Technically down there. I mean, four employees are going to be working the whole time. Then they're going to be down for, I think, 11 days.
Wow.
And then the 5th employee is working 2 of the days. The rest of the time it's Ozzy. He's the pit crew lead for the Wicks.
Yes.
So he's in charge of making sure the vehicles are all prepped, ready to go for the races. So that's what his main job down there. And then on a couple of his days, he has extra time. He's going to be doing some marketing content with some influencers, content creators down there for Morphlate. But so I've got 5 employees down there.
Yeah.
Which means that only leaves like 2 employees left to continue getting orders out the door.
Right.
So I'll be up here kind of working out of the warehouse and making sure that something still keeps moving for people that are placing orders and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So I will not be down at Hammers this year. That and being gone from the baby for 10, 11, 12 days is just not feasible yet.
Sure.
So
yeah. Understood. You could not go down for 10, 11, 12 days.
I could. And that comes into the second thing. Sending and taking care of 5 employees for 11 to 12 days. We're spending about $10,000.
Wow.
And the booth at Hammertown and everything. So I'm like, I could get a plane, fly down, and then get a rental car in Palm Springs and drive out. But I'm like, I'm already spending $10,000. Like,
yeah.
I just, it's a lot of money. I can't bring myself to spend more just because I want to go play down there kind of thing. So
yeah. I'm probably like 90% sure I am headed down.
Nice.
I'll probably be heading down on Wednesday and bombing home on Sunday at some point. I would like to stay till Monday, just not have to deal with the chaos of the mass exodus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might just leave late, like really late on Sunday.
On Sunday,
because I'm thinking I'm just going to bring the Tacoma down.
Yep.
And just use the RTT and just that'll be it, and just be super low key, just minimal, to some extent.
What I really like doing is, and I think what the MFers are going to be doing is getting out of there Saturday night.
Yeah.
And going and either camping out at Boone Road, sleeping out at Boone Road, or go down to Cafe 247 and sleep and camp out in their big parking lot.
Yeah.
That way you wake up in the morning, grab one of their amazing breakfast burritos.
Yep.
And then just take off.
Sure.
So that's, that's my favorite way to go right now.
Might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured, at least if, you weren't going, somebody needs to go down there to cover a little bit of it.
Yep.
So that, that was my main reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Just
do your duty, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get down there for Snail Trail.
Yeah. Exactly.
Babe, I'm sorry. I got to go work. It's my job. I gotta be down there for Snail Trail. So
yeah. The assistant did purchase tickets to a concert. I think it's at the Fox Theater in Oakland. For that Saturday.
Ultra 4 race day.
Yeah. I think I said I thought it was fun last time and I knew it wasn't, but it's actually, so it's Foster the People.
Oh, okay.
The band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a big band, big name.
Yeah. They're fairly large sized, and she's always wanted to go to the Fox Theater and never has been. And so it was more of a, she's already seen Foster the People, but she was like, they're a good band, and she's always wanted to go to the Fox Theater and check it out. So it was kind of a, twofer for her to some extent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't go. Like, I'm probably going to be going to King of the Hammers. Like, you're going to have to find somebody else. So she has a few friends that she's been asking to see who might be able to go with her. But yeah, I think she's a little sad that I'm not going with her. And I'm like,
bummer.
Did you look at the calendar? Like, what are you thinking here? Did you just impulse buy these? Probably, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I don't, I'm not going to be able to rush home for that.
Yeah.
So I'll just go down there, grab a few recordings, talk to a few people, do a little bit of networking. It's a fantastic networking opportunity. That was one of at least for any business, really. And that was one of the things I missed out on last year because I left early.
Yeah.
I left on Saturday, I believe, to get back I had something going on, or I said I was going to do work and I didn't do work. One of those, but I missed. I think most people showed up for Saturday and Sunday events, and the people I need to talk to or want to interview are there those days. So I need to stay those days.
Yep.
So that's the game plan.
Yeah, that's the game plan. Cool. We'll probably have to do an episode here coming up on things for people to look forward to if you're going down to KOH and kind of that are prepping our KOH prep. What is it? Hammers prep?
Yeah. KOH
Hashtag KOH prep episode. So we'll get that in. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Anything else coming up in January, February?
Not a whole lot.
I think in February is Cal4 convention, which is in NorCal this year.
Okay, good.
So any Cal4 members, if you're or anybody who's interested in what goes on behind the doors of California Four-Wheel Drive Association, highly encourage you to go to convention. It's where a lot of the business stuff for Cal4 gets talked about. Like where does your membership dues go towards in Cal4? So conventions in NorCal this year. If you're local in NorCal, go out either February 15th is when it's there.
Okay.
So
day after Valentine's Day.
Yep. Day after. So, let's see what else. The Black Tie and Boots is coming up. I believe registration is open now for Black Tie and Boots.
Okay. So
if you want to go and support Rubicon Trail Foundation and want to buy some dinner seats, I don't know how much they are. Haven't confirmed that. But Black Tie and Boots, the registration should be now open. I heard word yesterday that it got opened up. So there's that. Anything else coming up that people can get prepared for, look forward to?
I can't think of anything.
All right. EJS registration is open. Cruise Moab vendor registration is open.
Yep.
So I need to get on that. I think that's kind of the big stuff this year. So Jimmy and I are going to go out to Cruise Moab.
Yep, we'll be there.
So it'll be a fun one this year. So if you guys are looking at a good vacation later in summer in Moab, check out Cruise Moab. Oh, speaking of Moab, I did want to talk about this.
Okay.
This is kind of an important one. There is the Historic Roadways. I think it's called the Historic Roadways Act. Historic Roadways and Byways Act, something like that, has been getting worked on. And Blue Ribbon Coalition has been talking a lot about it and teasing a lot about it and telling everybody to keep it on their radar. No action was needed. Just they wanted to inform people that it was coming.
Okay.
And what it is a law that is getting placed into voting, into legislation, that it deals with funding for roadways. And it's stating that any roadways that are in a state or county or a city, any of their inventories, they are responsible for the funding on those roadways, and thus they are responsible for those roadways.
Okay.
And no other outside organization has any jurisdiction whatsoever to ever shut down those roadways.
Interesting.
So that means BLM cannot be closing all these roadways that they're closing if the roadway is in the state's inventory.
That's a positive.
Yep. And since it is has to deal with the fiduciary funding side of stuff, it can be put into essentially budget legislations, which typically all get grouped together in big group bills that get voted on, right? So usually it's a lot easier to get those passed.
Okay.
But it's a big thing going through, and if it goes through and if it gets passed, then it will automatically reverse all of the Gemini Bridge and Labyrinth Rims trail closures, which was like 320 miles of trail closures in the Moab area. It'll also reverse all the San Rafael trail closures, which I want to say was like 600 miles of trail closures. There's been a lot of trail closures that BLM has been trying to push through over the past couple months, and roadway closures that we've been talking about, we've been covering, and the time is now. So everybody needs to go and talk to your legislators, send in emails, send in letters, whatever it is, saying they need to be supporting this act.
Okay.
Blue Ribbon Coalition has a big action item on their website for it. So if you go to the action items side of their website, it should be like the top thing, the top priority. So it's a big thing. Everybody, if you enjoy your roadways, enjoy access to these awesome recreation areas. And it's not just for off-roaders. It's literally the biggest people that these closures are impacting are the dispersed campers, the van lifers, the overlanders, the people that go out in their Subarus and just set up a tent for a weekend in a remote location. Those are the people that these closures are impacting the most, and they don't realize it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. I wonder how the county or city or whatever, how it falls down. If they're going to get the appropriate funding to keep some of these things open, they might not be getting the appropriate funding and be like, there's a whole bunch of roads out here that we can't maintain.
That's a good question, right? It's I mean, in theory, if they had the roads open before.
Yeah, but were they getting the funding to have those roads open?
You mean for maintenance?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, rebuttal to this act, this law, if it passes, could be that the other side, SUWA and whatnot, could come through and just start suing the living daylights out of the states and the counties and saying, this road is not upkept to maintenance standards. You need to upkeep it or close it.
Yeah.
And in which case, I would hope that they would allocate funding for them and keep them open. So
yeah.
Which is, I think, a good thing too, because then it means more of our roadways will stay maintained.
Yeah.
So
I also think it's a lot easier now to, if this is all comes true, it'd be a lot easier to contact the county or city and do trail maintenance or road maintenance and be like, I'm willing to maintain this to X standard if we can continue to keep this.
Do more like adopted trail stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be able to pave the road or, fill some potholes or something, but they can keep the trash off of it and give updates on the conditions.
That can definitely help upkeep a water runoff.
Yeah.
So like water bars, anything like that is needed to, because a lot of times in these areas, the biggest damager of these roadways is just water runoff.
Sure.
And erosion. So if you can control the erosion, the water runoff, the roads last so much longer.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a really cool thing moving forward. It'll be interesting to see what the other side does in response if it does pass. But it's a good step in a good direction that I think helps place responsibilities and accountabilities in the correct areas. And then it'll just be a matter of making sure those government organizations uphold their responsibilities and accountabilities.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So yeah, there'll be a link down in the description below that will direct you exactly to the BRC's page and where to go and what to do.
Yep. Cool. So that's an update there. I'm glad I remembered to talk about that. I've been wanting to mention that. I think the past couple episodes I keep forgetting. So
good.
Anything else?
No.
Cool. Well, then let's take a quick break and we'll be right on back with how our weekend was.
Yeah. Are you stuck inside? Are you not sure where you want to go to explore? Well, open the Onyx Off-Road app. It shows you all the trails around you and it tells you their difficulty. Now you can quickly search out your next adventure or plan your next trip. Download Onyx Off-Road from the App Store. Onyx Off-Road, built for the adventurer.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to today's Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. We get to be chatting and informing and filling you guys in on what we've been up to. You guys get to live vicariously through us and our stupid decisions and the shenanigans we get ourselves into. So
it's great.
It is fun. It's a lot of good times. How was your weekend, man?
The weekend was very busy.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yes.
You had a couple things pop up last minute you weren't accounting for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start with a little before the weekend. I'm also going to go quick because I know that you have more specific off-roading coverage and some fun stories about Winter Fun Fest. So last week, my buddy asked me if he asked me if I wanted to help him split some wood at his house. Mm-hmm. He said, my neighbor's dropping this huge cedar tree. They don't want any of the wood. So I asked to have all the wood. So
cedar's some good wood, man.
Cedar's some pretty good wood and it smells great.
Yeah, it does.
So anyways, I said, yeah, I'd love to help. We could split the wood. It would be, I'll take some, you can have some and it'll work out great. And he's like, okay, cool. I'll go rent a splitter. And I was like, well, I got a splitter.
Nice.
That's not a problem.
Yeah. You can rent mine.
Yeah, you can rent mine. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
So at that same exact day, I had a neighbor reach out to me and said, hey, can I borrow your splitter? And I was like, I just said I was going to take it over to my buddy's house, but he has one tree that's being fallen and it shouldn't take too long. Mm-hmm. And so then I took it over to my buddy's house and unbeknownst to me, they dropped 2 trees in the yard and had a ton of wood to split. And
I'm guessing they had more than a ton, but
yes,
okay.
Yes, it was more than a weighted ton. Yeah, but not a volume ton.
Yeah. Oh,
whatever that is.
Is there a volume ton?
No, I don't know. Anyways, so we split wood almost every day last week. Wow. I was like, almost all my free time was splitting wood, mainly to try to get it over to my neighbor. Like, let's get this good. Like, I've now have my neighbor that wants to split her. In the meantime, my parents asked, hey, where'd the splitter go? We were going to use it the other day. And I have wood that needs to be split as well at my house from that tree that fell last February. Mm-hmm. And took out my main water line. Yeah. And so now it's been a year since that dropped. So I was going to split that wood while it's here. It's cool. And, what they say about firewood is it warms you twice. Yeah. Once when you're splitting it and cutting it, and the other time when you bake it in your stove. Yeah. So I've been going over to my buddy's house all week for the most part, trying to push him along to get all this going. And we do 2, maybe 3 hours of work. Mm-hmm. I'm like, let's keep going. He's like, I got stuff to do. I'm like, all right. So over the weekend, I had a little bit of free time too. And I was like, hey, what are you doing today? And he's like, oh, we're cleaning out the garage and I got something for the kids. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to come over and split. He's like, okay, but I'm not gonna be able to help you. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just keep going. And then I think that was Saturday. And then Sunday rolled around. I'm like, hey, what are you doing today? And he's like, I got X and Y going. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about coming over. And he's like, do you need the splitter back? And I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, I have a neighbor that's interested in getting the splitter or wants to use the splitter. And my parents want to use the splitter. I didn't even throw that in there. And he's like, okay, well, okay, let's just try to get some more done. And if we don't get it, some of it done, you can have it back. And yeah, I'll just rent a splitter another time. I feel like bad that I keep like trying to like, let's go. Why are we only doing this little bit? There's all this stuff here. Yeah. And I think he's sort of in the lazy mind of like, oh, I've got the splitter. I'll just do it whenever.
Yeah.
So I told him that, on Friday, I'll be over. We'll split as much as we can split. And at the conclusion of that, I'm taking the splitter.
Yeah.
And that, so he's had it all week for the most part. Again, I'm going to go over there a few more times. And, at that point, whatever's not done is not done, and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And so, so we'll see. So that was the vast majority of my free time this last week, and over some of the free time over the weekend. Now, the weekend was sort of sporadic for us because we weren't supposed to have the mini assistant.
Yeah.
And the mini assistant's dad came down with COVID. They have a baby, and so they were just like, don't have the mini assistant come over here.
Yeah.
We're all sick. And you just keep her. And we're like, okay, well, sure. We had a whole bunch of plans, and what are we going to do now? And I told the assistant, I'm like, we're just going to continue to keep our plans. Why should we change them? Like these were the plans. Mm-hmm. Now we just have the mini assistant. Let's go. And one of the plans was we were going to go up and spend the night. Well, on Friday night, we were going to go to Monk's and have dinner. We ended up scratching that. We just did dinner at home with the family. Mm-hmm. And then on Saturday night, we were going to go up and spend the night and hang out at Winter Fun Fest. Mm-hmm. But since we had the mini assistant, we were like, well, we'll just come home. We won't spend the night, but we're still going to go and support Cal4Wheel. We're going to go say hi to people, hang out with everybody, and have a good time. And that's what we did. We went up there, and we got there early enough to hit the child's raffle, and the mini assistant got a whole bunch of stuff. I think she won 3 times and one of the grand prizes.
Nice.
Which was snowshoes and trekking poles, which she's super excited about, which I'm excited about because she's not normally like a person that wants to go hiking.
Yeah.
And now that she has snowshoes and she got excited about it, I'm like, cool, let's go snowshoeing.
Yeah.
So that's we're gonna plan something. We have a tentative plan in March to go up to my buddy's cabin.
Cool.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. If not before, we might find some time to go up to the snow. She also won some a Hedwig from Harry Potter owl light, a wand. She got some owl Lego Harry Potter Hedwig Lego thing. She got a game. And then they gave away consolation prizes to all the kids at the end, which was this it's actually a really cool collapsible bucket for sand toys and stuff. Okay. And you can just collapse it. And then it came with a few different toys on the inside. And she won a sled. That sled thing. It's it was like a long piece of plastic, thick, maybe a few mils thick plastic that had handles on the end, and it rolls up really tight. So kind of crazy. Yeah. So she had a lot of fun at that. We didn't win anything at the adult raffle.
Yeah.
But the mini assistant drew one of the grand prizes for the BFG tires.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that won the tires gave the mini assistant $20 for choosing his ticket.
Yep.
We're like, what? What is this for?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to get the mini assistant to hold one of my tickets in her hand to stick it in to grab a ticket out. And then it happens to be my ticket when she draws it. So maybe I'll win something next year. We'll see. But yeah, had a few drinks, hung out. The assistant drank, I think, one of everything up there. We got to show the mini assistant line dancing. She was very bashful at first, but eventually got out there and did some line dancing. She picked up the choreography super quick. It was fun. I told the assistant there's still $20 on the line if she can get you out and dance. And that didn't work this year either.
No, she didn't even really try.
No, no, she didn't. I thought she was going to succeed when you went to go say goodbye.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, he's going to cut in. But nope, didn't happen. We got home. I think we left around 10. I think you left like at 9:30.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you left, everything's like slowed down because
Yeah,
you know, you're the life of the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really not though.
No.
I was just sitting back eating popcorn.
Yeah, I know. They kept giving us
Drinking.
popcorn.
Yeah, it was great.
I swear I ate like 7 bags of popcorn again.
Yeah.
They were good. It's good popcorn. Yeah, cruised home. That was, what was that? That was Saturday night. Sunday was a lazy morning, especially for the assistant. But Sunday night, we went to the Sacramento Kings basketball game.
Nice.
Which was fun. They played the Wizards, and I think the Wizards are in last place.
Oh.
So it was a win. We lit the beam. But it was a little birthday present with her and her brother. Well, her brother was buying her for the most part. And so we met up with her brother and his fiance, and we went out to Tapas Day World and had
Top of the State World?
Tapas
State World?
Day World.
Tapas Day World. Okay.
Yeah. It's Spanish food.
Okay.
Tapas, they're just like small dishes.
Okay.
You know, so it was like we got, I got a Kobe beef, but it was like 2 ounces and cut thinly, but it was only like $8 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they're small plates made to, you order like 5 or 6 different ones and kind of just share them. And
okay.
You know, and I got some sangria, and we went to the game. They played well. We got seats in I don't know if it has a name, but where they give you those like bang sticks, the ones that make when they're shooting free throws, you're banging these things.
You're behind the free throw?
Yeah, behind. We were behind the basket, and they give you these sticks so you make a bunch of noise to distract the opposing team. And so we were in that section. Down, we were like 11, 12 rows up from the court.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Pretty good seat.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then just came home after that and just hung out. The mini assistant went to one of the grandparents' house and spent the night there. And then so that was Sunday. Monday was Martin Luther King Day and the assistant's birthday.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go over and chop more wood and get going. And my buddy's like, I'm not going to be around. And I was like, okay, well, I've got a whole bunch of honey-dos that I needed to get done anyway. And in the mix of that, I tried to work, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because there was just honey-do after honey-do after honey-do, trying to really kind of get the bathroom ready to present to the grandparents that were coming over and clean up a lot. And the mini assistant needed to clean up a whole bunch, and she was not happy that she had to do chores on a day off. So there was just, a lot of trying to control tempers and a lot of cleaning up. And then we had 9 people over, I think, on the other night and on Monday night for the birthday. And we made a soup and salad, and it was kind of Mexican themed. And then we had cake and ice cream and did presents, and
nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Sweet.
And that was the gist of last week and this last weekend. So there wasn't a whole bunch of work being done. This week, I still have, there's going to be a lot of more of chopping wood. So I'm not going to get a whole lot of free time done as well, because I'm trying to get this splitter done and out. And I mean, I could leave it for him just to kind of handle and do, but I want to help him and get that stuff done. So my goal though is the following. I'll just say this now. I will do something on Samantha before February.
Okay.
It's something,
like something big. What do you have something planned?
I have no idea what it's going to be.
Okay.
I will like clean a section of the frame. I don't know, but I will do something on Samantha. I feel like I'm looking at my life going, I've got this goal of getting Samantha to Rubathon. And what is that? Like in June?
June or July.
I think it's
I don't remember when.
It's in June. I don't remember. And so it's 6 months, from the start of the year, and 1 month is almost gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I really need to get going. But what I did realize is I tried to, like, all the free time last week was filled by going over for 2 to 3 hour stints and helping my buddy with a wood splitter. And I'm like, okay, well, if I can do that, I can find these 2 to 3 hour stints throughout my day and work on Samantha.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is to use that sort of structure and carry it over to the possible last week in January and moving forward.
Yeah. Cool.
Plus I got a new camera, which I'm playing with today.
Yeah.
So I've got, I bought it myself a Sony, what is it? EZV10.
Okay.
And it's my new camera. I've never, besides the one that we shoot on for the podcast, I never had a camera that zooms. I've been all GoPros and Osmos and that kind of style. And so I wanted a full frame camera that zooms. And so I settled on this guy. And I think it's going to be a push for me to do the YouTube content now that I got a decent camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited to play with it. I have a few things I already want to tweak and do, put a little cage on it, another microphone, kind of set it up to record more vlog style stuff. And go forward with that. So that's going to be fun here in the future. I'll probably try to get most of it ready with some small exceptions to take down to King of the Hammers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be your main KOH.
It's going to be my main camera going forward for the most part. Yeah.
Weren't you getting an Osmo or one of the new Osmos? Or
did I tell you that story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I bought an Osmo.
I was sending you a fishing line.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I bought pre-Christmas. I bought an on sale Osmo on Amazon, and the Osmos run for $550, $600, and it was on sale for below $500.
Yeah.
For like $490 something. And I was like, that's the cheapest I've ever seen it. It's the best sale I've ever seen on it. I'm going to buy it. It was like, it wasn't even Cyber Monday. I think it was just a little before December.
Okay.
It said it wasn't going to arrive till after Christmas, and I was fine with that. So at the Friday after Christmas, it didn't arrive, and I looked it all up, going like, hey, that thing was supposed to, the Osmo was supposed to arrive. Where's that at? And I looked at the shipping, and it said, isn't going to arrive till next Friday. And the whole shipping thing was funny because it said label was created, but was never delivered to the shipping location.
Yeah.
And I'm like, interesting. I know how this works. I ship a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So they just made a label, said it's coming, and they haven't done anything yet to deliver. So the following Friday rolled around, and it still was in the same status. Hasn't been shipped. Now our shipping's really delayed. Still label created, has never been delivered to the facility. And Amazon sends me a thing saying you can get a refund if you want it. And then I was like, ignore. I want the product.
I want the product.
I want this. And so another week went by, and same scenario. So I called Amazon. I got it. Like they had a whole thing like contact customer service and all this stuff. So I contacted customer service. They got me in contact with, like, I went through the bot and got connected to a real person. The real person's like, we're going to call you. And so some Indian lady called me, and they're like, yeah, there's no option for a replacement. We have to refund you the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't want the money. I want the products.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's not available anymore. I'm like, well, no, it is available. Like you sell this in many different locations. Just give me the same deal and I want the product. And they're like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's individual companies selling it, not this one. And I was like, fine, well, I'll take a refund. Give me my money back, $502 or whatever it ended up being. And I do want to say that this is sort of scammy. This is really bizarre. It's like
scammy.
They took my money. They never delivered. They created a label, but they never tried to deliver the product. And the Amazon lady's like, yeah, this has actually been reported before as a scam. So we're just going to give you your money back.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, thank you. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, so that sucked. I do think the Osmo would have been nice. I was debating between this camera and the Osmo. This camera is around the same price as the Osmo, The Osmo has the nice features. It does really good action and, balances itself. It shoots a good quality, but it doesn't really have any zoom, and it doesn't have it has these tiny little lenses that you can pop over the screen and it'll amplify or it'll zoom, but it'll just it's just a magnifying glass to some extent.
Yeah.
So you can change some of the lenses to make it more linear, make it more focused, or make it more, 3 or 5 times the zoom on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. Kind of tricky, but kind of neat. And then this camera popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, this has a better sensor, better features. It has way more adaptability. I can attach more microphones or, another hard drive. Oh, it just died.
It just died. Turned off.
56 minutes runtime.
All right.
That wasn't that bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. It has a flip around screen, so I can actually see what I'm doing if I'm shooting myself. I can change the lenses, so I can do wide angle or zooms or all different styles. It has good light sensing. So I was like, if I'm going to step up and do YouTube again, I should step up and get away from what I used to be doing and try and actually learn and adapt and grow. And that's why I decided to get the Sony camera.
Yeah, I like it. I think the zoom feature alone is going to be kind of big for you, and being able to make use of that in the videos moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of walking close to the action, being able to, going down to King of the Hammers, there's a few camera stores around us that will rent lenses and things out. So you don't have to buy them.
That's nice.
So I might rent 1 or 2 lenses before I go down to King of the Hammers, so I can just test and play with and learn what kind of lenses I like or what shoots well, both video and stills, and be able to just test them out.
Nice.
So I might be doing that as well, which could be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good stuff, man.
Yeah, that was that whole story was not planned, but that was my Amazon.
It was a fun story, so that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
I was like, you took my money for more or less a month and you got, 1% interest on it or whatever.
Prime rate is what, 8% right now?
8?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say it's 8.5.
So if they put, my $500 and a bunch of other people's $500 in a bank account and got 8% for 2 to 3 weeks,
on Amazon during the holidays, you could, with that deal, you probably could have gotten 1,000 orders.
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, so that's $5,000.
No, $50,000.
$50,000 at 8%.
Yeah.
So that's $5,000 is 10%, right?
Yeah.
So they made roughly $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
and how many people just are just forget and then don't get a refund on it?
Amazon's pretty good at actually saying they contacted me.
Gotcha.
And sent me emails.
Reminding people about it.
Yeah, saying, hey, your product has been delayed. Your product isn't here. Your product's not, hasn't arrived.
Yeah.
So they were pretty in front of it.
Yeah.
Which I think that there's a lot of scams out there kind of like this that therefore they have to be kind of in front of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. All right. Well, good stuff. I got to play around with the 4Runner.
Yes, you did.
Which was awesome. I went on the Barrett Lake trip with Hussman.
Yes.
And then I did a couple of day trips last year, but I haven't done a whole lot of wheeling at all, really, since Reed was born. Right. And so, I haven't seen a lot of these faces, right?
Yeah.
And in
sure.
Cal4, the Cal4 faces, I got to see and say hi to some of them at Sierra Trek, but like I was there with the secretary and her friend and Reed. So like my focus was really on them and making sure they were having a good time rather than socializing with all my friends at Sierra Trek.
Yeah.
So really, I hadn't really seen all these people since like last Winter Fun Fest. So it was really cool to sit down, catch up with people, say hi to people, and get to see those friendly faces again that I haven't seen in almost a year.
Yeah.
So that was really neat. Leading into Winter Fun Fest, though, I was supposed to go up Friday.
Right.
Friday night. So, and then I wanted to go out and run the trail on Saturday that I was going to be leading for on Sunday. And so that way I just kind of see trail conditions, right? And see what snow conditions are like, and had know if do we need to change where we're going to go last minute to make it a better trip for Sunday, etc. So I was supposed to come on Friday.
Yeah. What happened with that?
I went out to put the 4Runner on the trailer, and the 4Runner was dead.
Dead again.
Dead. DED dead.
DED?
Yep. DED dead. And so I had the 4Runner running, I want to say 3 days earlier, 2 or 3 days earlier. So up until this time, like I purposefully let the 4Runner sit for like 3.5 weeks.
Right.
Without starting it to see if there was any parasitic draws on the battery.
Okay.
There was nothing that I could find. And then all of a sudden, in a 3-day period, the battery died.
Right.
That was very similar in behavior to my chassis harness issue, which I thought ended up being the alternator issue, the alternator shorting out internally, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then got the alternator repaired and the draw went away.
Right. Yeah. Because you put the alternator in, that's when you let it sit for 3 weeks.
Yep.
There wasn't a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You drove it around a few days.
Yep.
And then you let it sit, and now your car wouldn't start because your battery's DED dead.
Yes, sir. So I started tracing wiring, and I was like, motherfucker, this is back in the chassis harness again.
Oh.
So it's not the alternator.
And how did you figure that out?
So there's the wiring harness. I have all of my electrical circuits, right? My accessory electrical circuits, and all of the stuff that I have set up aftermarket, I purposefully keep off of the stock wiring harnesses.
Right. Okay.
That way, if shit starts happening and you have a weird draw somewhere, I can trace my circuits and be like, okay, it's nothing that I did.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it's over here in the stereo amplifier circuit, or, oh, it's over here in the ham radio circuit, or, hey, it's over here in my light bar circuit, or the siren circuit, or
testing things with the multimeter.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm doing continuity checks.
Yeah. Between
Between the load and the ground. And if the load and a common ground is checking out as continuous, I guess those are connected electrically. That's a bad thing. That's where you have that's where your short draw is, right? Okay. So, I have a couple of sub panels, fuse panels, right? And so I just started working my way down the line of the fuse panels and checking all my stuff. And once I disconnected my circuits from the main power coming from the battery, I didn't have continuity anymore. So I was like, okay, so the draw isn't in that circuit. So test the next one. It's not in that circuit. Test the next one. It's not in that circuit. And I'm getting continuity in the main factory wiring harness.
And when you figured that out, what were you testing? Is it any positive wire to the chassis?
Pretty much. Yep.
Okay. So you just put the multimeter in the continuity mode, and you just put one of the wires on a positive and one wire on
a common ground.
Yep. And then if it shows some numbers to some extent, you know that there's a fault.
There's a short. There's a short somewhere. Yeah. Either a short or a switch or a relay or something is bad, and staying connecting the circuit when it shouldn't be.
Got it.
Because essentially the way electrical components work, right, is you have your load and your ground.
Yeah.
And in theory, if those are connected, you have a complete circuit and electricity is flowing.
Always moving.
It's always moving, right? Electrons are always moving. The way you harness those electrons and use them is to have a device somewhere in the middle there that uses the electricity to do work of some kind, either create a light, create heat, just voltage doing work, right?
Right.
Using a device. And switches control whether or not that device is using electricity to do work.
Okay.
If the switch is in the closed position, then electricity can flow into your device and get used and then flow out of the device to your ground.
Okay.
And then from the ground, it recycles back into your electrical system, in this case, the battery of your vehicle, to then get recharged with electrons and go back out to your device again. So it's a big circuit. If you have continuity between the load before your device and your ground, that means something in that line has a closed circuit now.
Got it. Right.
So either you have a short, so a wire is contacting, a bare wire in your circuitry is contacting a common ground somewhere, and therefore it's bypassing your device. That's a bad thing. Or the device could be shorted out internally, as was the case with my alternator.
Right.
And I had that happen on my reverse switch in the white 4Runner.
Oh,
so the reverse switch that triggers and tells the vehicle that you're in reverse.
Yeah.
Which turns on your brake light or your reverse lights, and it does a couple other things to the vehicle. That switch shorted out internally, which was causing a short in the circuit before. But anyway, so you can have a device short out internally, or you can have a switch or a relay misbehave. A relay is just an electromagnetic switch, right?
Right.
So if a switch misbehaves and stays closed and doesn't open up, so it's in the on position, then that will cause power to flow through and cause your device to try and work to do whatever work it's supposed to do with the electricity. So anyways, when this happened before, I had it nailed down to the chassis harness and something to do with door locks or window actuators.
Okay.
And before I was able to figure it out, the draw went away.
Right.
And
so is that where you started this last time?
So I kind of did a couple of quick checks. Like I ran down and I was like, well, let's just check the chassis harness real quick, because that's what it was last time.
Right.
And the chassis harness was getting continuity. And I was like, okay. Or the main harness from the fuse panel was getting continuity, and the other ones weren't.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so we're back in the main harness. So I went back and checked specifically at the main fuse box for the vehicle, right? You're in your engine compartment.
Sure.
I went and checked the chassis, where the chassis harness comes off. A lot of the connections for the chassis harness, that relay and fuse block, I checked that, and that had continuity. And I was like, okay, so we are in our chassis harness again. We have a very similar, if not the same thing happening that happened last time. And the problem was last time the draw went away before I could solve it. And so I was like, well, shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't solve it, but it went away. So now I just kind of have to wait for it to show itself again.
Right.
To really continue where I left off 8 months ago.
Diagnosing what the issue is. Sure.
Yeah. So my chassis harness draw came back up and traced it back. Took a half an hour just to make sure that it was back what it was before. And I did enough wire tracing to be like, okay, I think it is what it was before. So I started actuating all the door locks, right?
Okay.
I was like, let's just start there. So I start trying to actuate the door locks, thinking that maybe either one of the switches is going bad and it's staying in the closed position for whatever it's trying to actuate. And that would be causing a short or a draw, which would mean that one of the actuators is continually trying to work, or a window actuator, like a window rolls up and it doesn't automatically stop trying to roll up, and
the engines or the motor's still continuously pushing.
Exactly. So that could be happening too. So I started with the door locks.
Okay.
And I know that my rear window gets stuck actuating every once in a while too. So I started there and I made sure that was no longer engaging, still getting a draw. So I went to the door locks and started actuating, just going around driver door, driver side rear, passenger.
And at this point,
rear.
are you turning them on and off, open, close?
Open, close, just making sure they're working. They're not misbehaving somehow. And then I'm also, because there's two switches on a door lock. Sure. There's the key
Okay.
and the interior switch on the inside of the door.
Right.
So I went and actuated all the interior switches. And then I went around with the key and tried actuating. And the passenger side door, the front passenger door, would not work properly with the key.
It would not. What do you mean work?
It was
properly?
not unlocking.
It was not unlocking.
Yeah.
So it would lock, but it would not unlock.
Correct.
With the key.
With the key.
Okay. So does that mean it was not engaging properly the first time, or it just doesn't have something's not working to disengage it?
No, at any time. So the motor, to turn on the motor to make it lock or unlock, that's two different switches.
Oh,
right.
It's not the same switch, just reverse.
Correct. Well, even if it is reversed, you have two different actions happening.
Okay.
So you have to have a different switch to control each action.
Yeah. On or off.
Yep. And so, I went to, and because there's two different ways.
It's not really on or off. It's like forward and back.
Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. So you have a switch to go forward and a switch to go backwards.
Yeah.
And then you have another switch from the outside of the vehicle to go forward and to go backwards. Right.
Okay.
So for that one action of locking the door, you've got two different ways to do it. Well, I guess you got a bunch of different ways because there's different locks around the vehicle too.
Yeah.
So,
but it's the same switch on the inside. I mean, same switches, pair of them, right? Or is it a bunch of electrical connections telling one thing on the inside to go forward or back?
That way. It's that way. So from the user's standpoint, right? There's one thing that you're playing around with.
Yes.
But electrically, there's
You've
like
got
six
the
different things
driver
going on.
side key, driver side interior switch, passenger side key, passenger side interior switch. And my guess is the rear doors don't have locks and unlocks.
Correct. They have the window rolls. They do not have keys.
Yeah.
So
there's only those four.
Correct.
Okay.
So I found out that the key on the passenger front door to unlock the door was not working.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, we have a problem here. Let's dive into it and see if I can fix and make the key work, and then go from there. So I tore the door apart, took the panel off, got into it, started looking at the locking mechanism and everything that controls that. And the locking mechanism was jamming up on the window guide.
Oh.
So the bar that goes down to the lock from the keyhole was jamming on the window guide and not allowing it to properly work. So I just bent to the bar a little bit to get it out of the way and clearance it from the window guide. And then started cycling and actuating all the door locks again and going through all that and then checking my parasitic draw. And after doing that, the draw went away.
Okay.
So I'm still not sure exactly how the mechanical linkage not allowing the switch to actuate or the switch to switch properly in order to actuate the motor and turn the motor on would cause a parasitic draw. The only thing I could think of is that if you tried to unlock the door from one of the other switches and it couldn't unlock because of the mechanism getting in the way, that it kept the actuator on trying to unlock then.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I could think of. So once I cleared that, it cleared the actuator from continually trying to actuate. Yeah. That's my guess.
That makes the most sense. You're either the motor of your actuator is either continuously on, pushing or pulling, whatever it's doing. And that makes more sense than there might be some sort of an electrical connection between the window guide and the metal rod that
some weird ground thing that's turning and bypassing the switch. I don't know.
Maybe if those two were touching, some electrical connection happened and it was causing the draw. That's a lot less likely in my opinion. So I think that there was the motor was always was on for some random reason.
That's kind of my guess, is that it because it got jammed, the actuator got stuck on, and that was what was drawing down the battery.
Yeah.
So once I cleared it, the draw went away. That took me 3 to 4 hours of doing to try and figure out and get to that point. And so by that point, it was already past the time of being able to get up to Winter Fun Fest by the time I wanted to get there.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I want to make sure this draw is gone.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to be up, on the side of a snowy mountain trying to lead 20 rigs and not be able to start my vehicle.
Right.
Because my battery died. Is that really going to happen? I don't think so. Cause it was taking 2 to 3 days to kill the battery of not starting and not having any charging going on. But I was like, I just don't want to take the chance. I'd rather just let it sit overnight, confirm the draw is gone, and then go up on Saturday.
Sure.
So that's what I did. Friday night was apparently really good. There was a ton of people there on Friday night.
Okay.
The vendor stuff, there was only 2 vendors there on Friday night, us and Sneevies.
Yeah.
So, we ended up selling out a product Friday night.
Dang.
Which ended up working out really well of me going up Saturday.
Yeah.
Cause then I could bring more stuff up.
Yeah, of course.
So that worked out really well anyways. I didn't get to go pre-run the trail on Saturday. But I did get to talk to the GenRight guys.
Okay.
Who go and run that trail on Saturday typically.
Got it.
And we end up using the same trail for the run on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then the run on Sunday is supposed to be a little easier because the group on Saturday goes through and breaks trail and sets the tracks in and everything. So, Sunday typically have an easier time unless the Saturday crew tears up the trail.
Oh no.
Because people get stuck and dig holes and all this other stuff in the snow. Right. So I was sitting there, I got up there Saturday evening, 4:30, something like that. And waited around for the GenRight crew to come and got to see them. And Will leads the Saturday group typically. And so he comes over and he goes, hey, how's it going, man? I was like, good. He goes, you leading Snowcat again on Sunday? I was like, yep. He goes, are you going to Lake Valley Reservoir? I said, that's the plan. I wanted to talk with you about snow conditions, everything, because I didn't get to go out there today. He goes, okay, I'm sorry. And then he turned around and walked away. And I was like, wait, what does that mean, Will?
Yeah.
What is
the snow conditions bad? It's just muddy. There's no snow. What do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean you're sorry?
Yeah.
Like if it's bad snow conditions, then it's kind of like, oh, you're in for a bad time. Not I'm sorry.
Right.
What did you do?
Yeah. Okay.
Will,
yeah.
what did you do, Will?
Yeah.
And so he goes, oh, we had a good time today. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Will, you're being very cryptic here. Am I in for a bad time tomorrow? What is?
Yeah. Right.
He goes, no, we had a good time. Snow conditions are great. But people, we got to the top in a very fast time. We were at the top by 10:30, sat around for lunch for an hour and a half, and we were back down at the trailhead by like 1:30.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, geez, that is a fast day. He goes, however, people got a little bored and decided to play around and race their way down.
Okay.
So it's like the track is like 3 vehicles wide on the way down now. And there's some spots where like people kind of slid out and went off to the side. So it may pull your participants off to the side. And there's just not really great snow for people to go play around in because we made it 3 vehicles wide on the way down. I was like, oh, well, that actually works out really well for Snowcat.
Why is that?
Snowcat is supposed to be an easier run, and B, it's Sunday. So people want to get back earlier so that they can pack up and go home.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
And so typically Saturday, people will like to go play a little bit more. On Sunday, people just want a nice, easy jaunt with good weather.
Yeah.
And to be out in the snow in good weather. They're not necessarily looking for hardcore snow wheeling. Like,
sure.
when I go out snow wheeling, I want to get stuck. Mm-hmm. That's my goal.
Yes.
My goal is to get stuck.
You're not snow wheeling until you get stuck. Is what you have previously said. Yes.
So I want to go out and get stuck. But the Sunday participants typically don't want to get stuck. They're just out for a nice, good weather day, enjoying being out in the snow in the mountains.
Okay.
So I was like, that should actually work out perfectly. Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what it was.
Okay.
On Sunday. So vendor night Saturday was really great. Tons of people were there, hanging out, having a good time with the raffle. Saturday's Winter Fun Fest has started doing catering.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And I really like that change. The Saturday night dinner has been awesome. Steak has been on the menu each time for the catering. They had some really great mashed potatoes, some good salad. So it was, I've been really happy with that change that Carrie and Dave have done with Winter Fun Fest to get Saturday night catered.
Right. The mini assistant was upset.
Really?
Yeah.
About the catering?
A little bit. Yeah.
Why?
Because after the food, like after the line was gone and everything was they were kind of cleaning up in a way. There was still a bunch of desserts left over.
Oh yeah.
And so she went over and she's like, "Can I have a dessert?" And then they're like, "Yeah, go ahead. Take it. Take as many as you want." Kind of. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I'll just have one." So she brought one back and she ate it and she's like, "It's so good. I love it." So she went back to go get a second one and they had thrown all the leftover ones away. Oh, that were already plated.
Oh,
yeah. So she was like, I would have ate them all. I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. Yeah. But she was upset because she couldn't have thirds or whatever or fifths by that point or whatever it was. Really seconds, but she would have had fifths if she could have gotten her hands on that many plates. But yeah, so she was just sad that they got tossed, and she didn't get them is what her gripe was.
Gotcha. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The desserts were great. The cheesecake and some double chocolate brownies.
That's what. So yeah, she had like a brownie cheesecake or a chocolate cheesecake or something.
Yeah, I had one of each. I had the strawberry cheesecake and then a double chocolate brownie, and those brownies were rich.
Oh yeah.
I got like halfway through and I was like, I don't know if I can finish this brownie.
Yeah.
But they were good. Super good food Saturday night. And then dancing afterwards, which we talked a little bit about. I ended up buying a ton of drink tickets because I got there late, and so I couldn't pick up my registration. And my goal was I totally messed up and forgot to do my registration beforehand. And so I was like, let me pay my registration. Like, you guys have costs with the event. I want to make sure those are covered. Mm-hmm. And they're like, it's way too much paperwork. Like, seriously, it's not worth us doing your registration right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to make sure that Cal4 is benefiting and it's not a loss on Cal4, right?
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, then go buy raffle tickets and drinks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I bought some raffle tickets. I bought a bunch of drink tickets. And then I would just like, well, I'm not going to use all these drink tickets. So I gave them to the assistant and I was like, happy birthday.
Yeah.
And she went and handed out all the drink tickets to people that were dancing.
Yeah.
So that was funny.
At first she walked around and she asked people if they wanted a drink.
Uh-huh.
Like she was like, hey, I got extra tickets. You want a drink? And was like, gonna come to the bar. Let's get a drink. And everybody told her no.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And so then she just walked around and broke them into 2s and 3s, like, you need a beer. Here you go. You need a cocktail. Here you go. Just gave them, that just handed the tickets out.
Yeah.
So they could go get their own drinks. And
that's funny.
She was like, finally they took the drinks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked out really well. Fun night. It's always kind of the fun night is Saturday night at Winter Fun Fest. Yeah. And then Sunday was the trail ride for Snowcat.
Yep.
So the Mad Hatters get together and lead the Snowcat run on Sunday. And typically we've got like, last year, I want to say we had 25 to 30 vehicles.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big group to try and do a snow run with. Because typically people are going to get stuck. As soon as one person gets stuck, like the whole line just stops. It's a lot of sitting around at events, right?
Right.
And so we try and make sure that we have enough trail crew there to help get people unstuck quickly to keep the trail moving. And so that's kind of the goal of Winter Fun Fest for me is just keep the trail moving. Like that's the biggest complaint we get is when people just sit around not moving, not doing anything, which happens a lot at snow events.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I was like, well, goal is just keep people moving today, blah, blah, blah. And I'm checking people in for Snowcat as people are arriving at the fairgrounds. I'm like, okay, we're getting Oh, there's another person. There's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, another one. Oh, they keep coming.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a big group.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is getting a little bigger than I was anticipating. And I think we left the fairgrounds with 30 people.
Oh, wow.
30 rigs, I should say, 30 vehicles. And then I get to the trailhead and I'm counting how many people are how many vehicles are airing down before we're going. We had 39 vehicles in total for this run.
Wow.
And I'm like, I like to keep typically the ratio of participants to trail crew around 5-1.
Okay.
Right. So it's in theory, the trail crew can look after 2 to 3 people ahead and 2 to 3 people behind them.
Right.
We had a 10-1 ratio.
Yeah.
And so I just, part of my driver meeting talk turned into, there's a lot of people here. Everybody have patience. You know, if you want to go play around if you want to go and play around, go play around. But after you get stuck 2 to 3 times, you're done playing around. We need to keep this moving today.
Right.
We got a lot of people here and it's going to suck if everybody ends up sitting around just waiting for that one person to keep getting recovered. Right. So that ended up being kind of the driver meeting talk. But conditions were amazing.
Okay.
At the bottom of the trail, it was icy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of an ice skating rink. There wasn't a whole lot, and it's kind of narrow. So there's not a whole lot of room for people to go outside of the tracks anyways. And then once we got about halfway up, it got into actually really nice snow.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly, for not have snowed in a month and a half
right
up there, it was actually really good snow conditions.
Okay.
Especially for a big group that the goal is to kind of get done earlier in the day so people can get home before midnight. And so super nice snow conditions. The weather was amazing. It was like
it was
55, 60, not a cloud in the sky, super bright and sunny. And so we got to the top of the hill in like an hour.
Wow.
Which was, I think, a new record. So not only did we have a new record on how many rigs we had on the run, but we made it to the top in record time too. So, got to the top. There was a few people that were like, I want to play some more.
Right.
I want to keep going. Get to play at all. The snow conditions were not great for playing.
Yeah.
But it was great for a jaunt in the mountains in snow on a bright sunny day. So I told them, I was like, well, if you want to play, there's a trail. This trail continues from this point, and it technically loops around to one of the trails that was did yesterday, Immigrant Gap.
Okay.
And I was like, I do know that 2 vehicles on 40s made that loop yesterday. So I don't recommend anybody lower than 37s to go that way. But if you guys want to continue and go play, you're more than welcome to. But you are off the run at that point. You're on your own.
You're on your own. You're signing out.
You are. I'm checking you out here. Signing off. And so there was a handful of people. I want to say we had 13 vehicles end up continuing on.
Oh, wow.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So 6 came back. The other 7 continued on. And so the 7 that continued on, I said, text me when you guys get done. That way I just know you're all good. I don't have to worry about you. And they made it back to Immigrant Gap. They did the loop about 30 minutes longer than it took us to get back down at the end of the day.
Wow.
Granted, they didn't really sit around for lunch that long. They just kind of continued on.
Sure.
And we sat around for lunch for about 2 hours.
Got it.
So it was cool being up. It's a big opening up on the top of the reservoir ridge. So the kids and the families all got to get out and do some sledding, snowball fights, build some snowmen, have some lunch, and just enjoy the great weather up on top of this little mountain.
That's cool.
Overlooking the reservoir.
Yeah.
So great day. Ended up going back down. We were back down by 2 p.m. at Air Up.
Perfect.
And then everybody got out of there and went home.
Nice.
So
and then you went back to the fairgrounds and loaded up.
I went back to the fairgrounds, loaded up, and took off. I will say I am really enjoying having the Lance out on trips like this because I was tired, right? I'm typically my sleeping habits are I'm going to bed around 2 to 3 a.m. right now. And so I left around 9:30 from the Saturday night shenanigans because I was like, I got to be up at like 6 to get ready for the run.
But you probably didn't fall asleep for a while.
I didn't really fall asleep until like midnight, which 6 hours is plenty for me right now. But I was tired at the end of the day.
Sure.
So I was like, man, I got to drive home now. And I'm like tired. I could tell my eyes were heavy. And I was like, I have a Lance.
Yeah.
I can just go back there and make some coffee real quick.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to go to bed.
Go take a nap.
Go take a nap.
No, so I went back and fired up the stove in the Lance and made some coffee. And then I was like, sweet, I got some coffee for the drive home now. It was
perfect.
Great. So drove home, made it home. It was great. Great weekend. No issues whatsoever. The 4Runner had no electrical issues. However, my slider is contacting my door.
Oh, okay.
So are you annoying?
So is your slider actually moving?
I can't imagine the slider is moving because I was in snow the whole weekend. And I never had to engage my lockers. I was open the whole time.
So your body is moving?
I think the new body mounts are settling in. And it's settled in enough that my slider is contacting the door again. It's not jamming up like it was before, but it is contacting the slider.
Dang it.
So I need to now go in and redo them and put those 1-inch lifts in, the 1-inch body lifts in.
Okay. Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed at that, but whatever. I know how to do an access and how the interior comes apart to access all the body mounts now from the inside. So I should be able, in theory, to put all that 1-inch body lift in within a couple hours.
Yeah. Gotcha. Good weekend. Little update there. Our work ahead of you.
Yep.
Are you going to get that done before KOH?
Yeah, I think I need to put it in before KOH. So before KOH, I need to do the body lift, the 1-inch body lift. And I need to finish the brackets and mounts for the whips and the siren.
Okay.
So
yeah. One concern about a body lift is the electrical connections.
Yeah.
So just pay attention to that when you're doing it.
Electrical connections and the funnel for the gas tank.
Oh yeah.
Are the two main concerns, but
maybe your steering shaft.
Yeah, I don't think a 1-inch will have that much of an impact. Like, in order to get the body mounts out, you have to separate the body from the chassis 5 inches.
Yeah, sure.
So I imagine as long as everything was stretching that far, 1-inch won't be an issue for it all. So
at least that's what I've heard.
Fair.
Well, too good. So, it was a fun weekend. Winter Fun Fest is always a blast. It's always a good time to be able to go out and support companies that are supporting the off-road industry. If you want to go out and do an event or join an event like Winter Fun Fest, Cal4Wheel hosts a few of them throughout the years. And you can go to their website to find out which ones are a good fit for you. I know they have some in Southern California, and they've got a few up here in Northern California. So they do spread themselves out throughout the state.
Yep.
So find one that's close to you and go participate.
Yep. A couple of the big ones are the Moonlight Madness? I don't know.
Do they do that one?
Madness. I want to say Cal4 does. That's the Central District down at Shaver Lake.
Yeah.
There's that one. There's the Molina Ghost Run.
Yes.
That's at Hollister.
I want to go on that one.
It's supposed to be a really good one out at Hollister. It's a fun one. So there's that one. There's the new overland trip. Cal4 started doing overland trips for the Southern District.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Of I want to say they do it out around Mojave.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's that. There's Sierra Trek, which is always the big real fun summer one in NorCal.
Yeah.
Winter Fun Fest, which is in NorCal. So yeah, they do a lot of really cool, good events, and they're great ways if you want to do a fun overland trip in a way that there's kind of safety nets for you.
Yeah.
The Cal4 events are an awesome way to get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
And a way that you have safety nets, but you're still giving back to
Yep.
the community
100%.
and helping out.
Cool. I think that does it for today.
All right. I think so as well. So if you have any questions or comments for us, you can always find us over on Instagram because TikTok died. So
It's back.
Oh, is it back?
Yep.
Back as of today, even though
I think it came back Sunday evening sometime.
I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
have an account, so I'm not keeping up on what it's doing there. So anyways, we're on Instagram, SnailTrail4x4. You can get a hold of me, Jimmy. You can get a hold of Tyler over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
Mhm.
You can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler, at snailtrail4x4.com. Or you can phone in and be a part of our voicemail segment, Snail Mail. And that phone number is area code 916-345-4744.
I like it a lot. Jimmy, any final words for everybody out there?
I wish I could have got Bobcat out.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
God.
Do you know why dogs
Mhm.
aren't allowed in bars?
Why aren't dogs allowed in bars?
Yeah, bars, pubs. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they can't control their liquor.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
It is a problem.
Yeah.
I have the same problem.
I believe you.
Yeah.
For the same reason as a dog.
Yeah. As evident by our last episode
Yeah.
with the chicken cock.
Yeah.